Hello and welcome to Programming. This is going to be episode 5 of the making of Pac-Man, and I'll show you the complete game logic for the Pac-Man game. Let's start off by going to my YouTube channel and then go to the project link. Go to Downloads tab. Download the last one. Once you're done downloading, extract it and then extract to your home folder. Next, open your Eclipse IDE. Select the workspace to be your home folder and Eclipse. Hit enter. Close the welcome page if you see it. Next, open the project by going to File, Import, General, Existing Project into Workspace. Select the root directory. Click OK. Click Finish. Next, let's open the file. We're going to make changes to Pac-Man with Java. Comment out everything from line number 21. And then fix the error. Add a constructor. We're not sure what to do in this case yet, but we're sure we're gonna need the user interaction, so let's copy that method right there. Let's put it there. Now we're gonna need the variable called requesting direction, and let's keep that from 0 to 4. Next, we are going to update the draw method so that we know what we actually need. The first thing we're gonna need is we need to clear the canvas. Next, we are going to draw the mesh. Then draw the pews. Draw the power pews. Draw Pac-Man. Draw goes. Draw score. Now in the update method, we are going to do the following. Of course, we're going to have a variable called frame that will keep track of how many frames we are so far. Then we're going to need the variable called frame. Now let's suppose that we have everything in one object, and we're going to call it game data. Let's call it data. This object will be responsible for keeping track of the data in the Pac-Man game. Of course, we need to draw one to create a class, hit enter, come back to Pac-Man. And what else do we need? It would be easier for us if we have a drawer object to take care of all the drawing method for us. So we are going to have a drawer. Drawer will be using a utility class in the game engine called SpriteSheet. It's called drawer, and control 1 to import the game SpriteSheet. Next, we are going to instantiate the drawer. So drawer name sprite, and control space, we need to supply it with image name and info name, because I know that the image name is called Pac-Man-like Pac-Man info. Okay, now let me get expand this a bit, and I don't usually use these panels, so I'll go ahead and delete it, close it. Once we have the drawer, we can clear the image by saying g.setColor. We're gonna clear it with color black, so g.fillRight for the whole display area. Now that should be fine. Now with the drawer, we can draw the maze easily by draw G name is mazes and giving it the index of the maze. So let's get that from data, current maze number, and where to put it, 0 0, and should the center point XY be center? Nope. Now the problem is data doesn't have a variable called maze number. The data is actually just game data, so you can just put it in there. That's the first one we need. Go back to Pac-Man. Now we're gonna need to draw the pills, but there are many pills inside maze. So let's wish that we has all the pills from data, and for each of the pills we are going to draw it. Now we're gonna need to fix these errors, so in the game data should be, let's go back. First, let's create a class called position that will contain row and column to specify which cells the pills belong to. Now let's create a class called position. Okay, that's the option I should be selecting. Now in position I should have rows and a column. Now in the class game data there should be a list of position of the pills. So let's keep that in list of position called pills. Control 1, imported from utility package. Save it. Now that we're here, let's add power pills. And then let's go back to PackMan. We're gonna need to do the same thing with power pills. Let's draw it first. Draw the drawer G pills first. Now X and Y, we're gonna need to center it for sure. Now we don't know where the X and Y is. We need to get X from columns and Y's from rows. Okay, so let's copy that to here, rename that to power pills, and that's power pills. Next, we are going to draw Pac-Man. Now, what do we need in Pac-Man to be able to draw it? Let's suppose we keep that information inside class called mover info. Call it Pac-Man. The variable is called Pac-Man, and then we're getting it from the game data object, of course. Now let's fix this by Control 1 on move info, and we're going to be creating a class called move info. Let's hit enter, and then let's go back to PackMan. Now let's fix these. Control 1, enter, and that should be fine. Now save it, go back to PackMan, and then what do we actually need in mover info? We're gonna need drawer dot drawer, give it name PacMan, and index. So we have two options in the draw method. The first one is we need to give it an index for the sprite. The second one is we need to specify the row and the column, and we'll pick the second one. So we need to give it a row. The row is from the direction of the Pac-Man, so it will be good if we can get the direction from Pac-Man, and the column should be frame, number of frame mod by 3. X and Y should be at the position of the Pac. Can we just get position of the Pac-Man and then get the columns times 2, and then for Y we basically just get Pac-Man dot position that rows times 2, and then we are going to center it, so give it true. Now we're gonna need current direction, position. which will essentially be the position for Pac-Man. So now in mover we can define what we want by specifying that the first thing we need is current direction, and possibly requesting direction. Position, because we need to fix that. That should be fine. I put the requesting direction back there because in the old code, in the old implementation, whenever we want to specify the direction of Pac-Man, we always need requesting direction and current direction. They comes together, so that's why I have it in mover info. Now that's it for drawing Pac-Man. Now here's how we draw all the ghosts. Let's suppose we have all the ghosts inside game data, and then we're gonna call it ghost info. All of the ghost informations are in the game data, so we are going to go one by one and grab the ghost information out of the ghost info. So let's call it G info, ghost info, number I, now we're gonna fix the error by go to there, control 1, and then create a ghost information class. Essentially the ghost is just another mover object, just a movable object, so it will essentially containing the information about its direction and the position. So we'll make our life easier by extending mover info there, so all of the attributes here is inherited. Now go back to Pac-Man. Of course we haven't have these attribute inside game object yet, so control 1, hit enter, and the ghost info should be an array of ghost info, 4 to be exact, so that should be dot length. Now once we have the ghost information for ghost number I, and then we will start drawing. To draw it, we just ask drawer to draw using the graphics, and then give it name of the sprite, and that should be G info. The index of it should be I, and then the direction of it plus frame mark 2, and then the X and Y position of the ghost should be from G info dot position columns times 2, not Pac-Man, G info position dot rows times row times 2, center it. Next we are going to draw score, so go here and then ask the drawer to draw score, and the index is only one index. This is just to draw the word score, the text score, so 5, 10, and we're gonna fix the position. And next is to draw the score itself. So where do we get the score from? Of course it's going to be from the data. Score would be a number, so we can add it. So to turn it into a string, we would have to add a string to it. Now let's fix this. Create a field called score. It's not gonna be string, it's gonna need to be integer. Go back here and then we should be fine. Now here's how we draw it. We are going to draw from the right hand side. So this is for in I less than score I plus plus. To draw it from the right hand side is we're going to use the following G, and this time we'll use digit, and the digit index is corresponding to whatever character is in. So let's get the character from score character at I. Now we'll be getting it from the leftmost, so should be, once we have the character we can specify the index by using that for the digit, and then next we are going to specify the position for it. That is width of the screen is 20, the size of the digit it's 20, and exactly the same level as the where we draw the text, and we're gonna fix the position. Okay, let's make some change to update. Let's go ahead. The updating process will start from moving PackMan according to requesting direction. Second step of the process is to move all the goals. Now this will be returning from coach. Let's call it goals coach, which will decide which way to go for each of the Pac-Man according to the data given. Now let's fix all of the error for now. Okay, let's update other stops, like is it time to remove the pills, or whether the score should be updated or not. Let's leave that for as an update method for the data object. Now let's fix all of these. This should be easy. Control 1 on that should be okay, and then let's go back here. Control 1 on that again should be okay. Go back here. We should have a variable called goes coach, which should be some kind of a class which will decide where the ghost should behave. It's called the class ghost coach. Now control 1 on that, we should be creating a new class called ghost coach, and then let's come back here. And that should be good. Now this should be control 1 and enter. Now we're gonna change this to array of integer, which will contain four numbers specifying direction for each of the ghosts. Now we should default it to left, left, and left, and left. Now control 1 on move ghost. Okay, let's finish up this by updating the Pac-Man game. So we're gonna be changing the title by rename it to Pac-Man. Next we are going to specify the width and the height of the screen. Get width and get height should be from the maze, and we should leave some rooms in there for the score, so we put 20 there. And actually it's a little bit more than that because the digit is 20 already, so let's keep that. And let's move it a little bit faster by setting the delay to 10. Now let's fix get width and get height. We got get width. Get width should be from the current maze of the current maze. Now let's have a variable called mazes which will keep all the information of the mazes, and have a variable called maze number to signify what number of the maze is currently running. And that should be get width. Now the same thing for height. We just go ahead and do these. Once we save these, Pac-Man should be fine. And coming back to game data, of course we are going to need to add a variable called mazes, which would be a lizard maze. Now the game data should be initializing the mazes, so we're gonna need constructor for the game data. The first thing we gonna do is we're gonna load in all the mazes. So we know that the mazes are there are 4 mazes in here. So this is how we are going to load in. Maybe we already have the code, so let's go back to. Alright, we already have the code, so let's copy that and then put that there and initialize the variable. Next we are going to set the current maze to be current maze number. Maze number, of course, will start off with 0. Fix this by control 1 enter. Let's call this M and get rid of that. Okay, let's start off with Pac-Man. should be from new mover info, and it should set the initial position of the Pac-Man. So we'll get the initial Pac-Man position from current maze M Pac-Man position. All the ghosts should be initialized to 4. So for each of the ghosts goes in for J is now goes in for position. Maces M that goes position. Right, we are going to fix this by the class maze should contain position for Pac-Man. So let's control 1 on that. That should be position. The position is 5. Yes, that's the one. Pac-Man position is row and column. Alright, now we're gonna need the constructor of position to put in row and column. So this dot row is row, this dot column is column. I usually have my attribute on top of these. All the method should be below, so that should be okay. Now where are we? Now we're gonna need to fix these by create a constructor that will take in position again. It should be called pose. Anyway, we just need to deal with it. Let's go back to game, and that should be the same. Now where do we find it? It's exactly the same thing, except for this time we are going to have to check for 4. Okay, let's put it before here. Well, we don't actually need a variable called row and column, by the way, so we can get rid of that. And then these would just be R and then line dot index of 5. Now this should be ghost position index of 4. Now that should fix these, so let's save all of that. There's something wrong with goes in for the constructor. Now ghost info should have this constructor. Basically this just set the position of the mover object, so we just call superclass and give it position, just call position, and we are going to be fine, hopefully. Yes, we are. Once we have all the Pac-Man position, and then next we are going to make a copy of the pills and the power pills. So pill is a copy from Macy's at pills. This is how we make a copy. We clone it, clone the object, and then cast it. Likewise, this is the same thing we're gonna do with power pills. The only problem is that Maze is not keeping track of the pills and the power pills, so we are going to need to create a field called pills. Of course, it would have to be list of position, and another one is power pills. Let's control 1 to fix these and initialize them in here. Okay, we are going to need to add the pills and power pill by using the line length. If line dot character at I is 2, then this is clearly pills. Row and column. Row is R and column is I. If the character at I is 3, then this is power pills. Now let's come back here, save all. We cannot clone from an interface, so let's change that to a concrete class. Now we should be fine. Next we're gonna move the Pac-Man, so let's just copy the format from what we had previously. If we can move to the requesting direction given the Pac-Man information. Now if we can do that, we can basically change the Pac-Man current direction to the requesting directions. Otherwise we'll keep on going with the current direction. Now the only problem is that we don't have the move method. Lucky for us, we already have that in that is. So let's copy it and then put it then, oops, there. So instead of redefining success and failure, we are going to return true when it's actually success, and false when it fails. Now this would not be an int anymore, it would be boolean, and we're gonna need direction, so the direction would be, now let's just put it, note it there that we are now redefining direction to be left, up to be 1, right to be 2, and down to be 4. And we don't need these anymore. Up. Okay, what else do we need? We need the column and rows, which we do not have, but we can get it from mover info. It can either be PackMan or ghost info, so just say it's info. It'll be easier for us if we can say this info dot position dot row. Column should be column. Now we're gonna leave the code alone. Can we? We can't because we don't have cells. Now we're gonna need to put it back. Maze number character at columns. Let's redefine columns and rows. To be that. Now, nope. I don't know where that comes from. So that should be right. Okay, we need to make these final to make it constant. Let's go back to PacMan. I think we can get rid of all of these. And let's hope we can run it. Now we're gonna need to fix the error, because the error is actually just that the file is not there. So we're gonna give it +m there. Right, this should fix it, and when we run it, we should be again fixing something in line number. Okay, that basically means we don't get the name right, so we just go one by one. If you have all these names correctly, I think the pill is not there. Yep, so the pill should be that. To get the name right, we are going to open the info. For the power pills we have S, and all of them are lowercase. Pill is only 1, so that should fix it. Now let's try it. Okay, so the error is that one. We cannot update it because we haven't initialize it. Ghost coach that decide. Ghost coach is not initialized. Okay, let's put it there. And let's go to the function. When it decided will return 000. Okay, so this should be fine. Now let's try running it and cross your fingers. Okay, it doesn't move. Now let's go to game data. Why hasn't it moved? Okay, basically because we haven't actually moved the position of the mover info. So we just change that to info.position dot and dot that. Now we should be fine. It should be moving and the user should be able to control it. Okay, so I guess that is it for this video, and thank you for watching. We'll be finishing this game in the next video, I think, and let me know what I should do next in your comment. So thank you for watching. Goodbye.